Hi there, I'm Megan. I'm sitting here at nextMEDIA in Banff with Vincent, who's the co-founder of GestureTek. And Vincent is going to be speaking on Saturday here at the conference in a session entitled How to Build a Viable Mobile Business in 2008, which is something that people are going to want to tune in to find out about. But first off, I wanted to ask you, Vincent, about your company and the technology that you've developed to the Shake, Rattle, and Roll, or Shake, Rock, and Roll.
Right.
And what does GestureTek do?
Well, we're fairly new to the mobile business. I mean, we've been doing it for about 3 years, but the company's about 20 years old. We started off back in around 1986 pioneering video gesture control. The idea that video cameras would be the interface to computers, that you'd be able to step in front of them, utilize them to immerse your image on the screen and control the animation that surrounds you, or as we developed into point and control technology, that you could stand back and actually point at your computer and take over the cursor and really, you know, navigate through multimedia with just gestures. Since then, we've evolved into interactive surfaces on the floor, on walls, on tables, multi-touch tables. I mean, it's really all about video cameras as the interface to computers, but how they're used and the dynamic in which they're used as the interface. And obviously, as technology's gotten better and processors have become more powerful and cameras cheaper, cameras are becoming more prolific everywhere. Sure. And so we're now on consoles with Sony and Microsoft and PCs, not just public installations around the world. And of course now, the mobile phones, it's a natural evolution. There's a camera pretty much on every phone. So camera phones are growing at a rapid rate, and it was a natural for us to translate our technology onto mobile phones.
And you've got your mobile there, you've got a Motorola. Can you show us?
Yeah, so with this particular, we have like three basic dynamics that we call shake, rock and roll. Yeah, and it's basically shaking. It's just the camera can pick up that it's a shaking motion, and rock is really just a quick motion, and then roll is like a joystick. And essentially, this game, which is called 3D Tilt-A-Whirl, which has won a whole bunch of awards on the Verizon network, is a 3D marble, world where you're moving at your marble game, and I'll just sort of do this through the world by just navigating it. And it's the camera that's picking up how the phone is moving in relationship to the world. It sees that the world is changing, and it knows that, and it drives your character, in this case the marble, through the world in 3D. And my time is up. Anyway, so the point is, what we're doing is we're using the camera, and in this case for the joystick emulation, we're essentially, it's a software that we add to the phone. There's no hardware or anything like that. Phones come with the camera, so it's great. We can just give this software the natural gesture controlling of moving through 3D worlds is much better than tiny little finger, pushing and that kind of stuff. And so it's becoming incredibly popular and doing really well.
Where are you finding your biggest market is for mobile?
Well, our biggest market actually to date really is, we got very lucky in that Docomo, the huge Japanese leader really in the cellular mobile world, looked at our technology, and they compared it to accelerometers. We did a little test of a couple phones with our technology, a couple phones with accelerometers. Basically, accelerometers do the same thing. They mimic knowing where the phone is moving. And they found that, well, with our technology, it was exactly the same as the accelerometer in that way, and that we could mimic that in the same way, the sort of the tilt of the phone. But they actually went and they took all of this previous technology that we've been doing, like immersing the user on the phone, and they've made it so you can put your phone down and you can actually, the camera grabs you, you're on the screen. They've got boxing games, they've got bowling games, where, large movements, small movements.
You've done a Japanese commercial where you're bowling with the phone?
There's a whole bunch of
Cool.
What they've done is a real lifestyle type of approach to the phone, because phones are so huge in Japan. This is an add-on. This is about being able to play and have fun and gesture, and so they've got all sorts of games, some 120 games or something. Popular games like Crash Bandicoot or Katamari Damash, and sort of things that are natural for rolling characters through games, but all sorts of wild games like fishing and tennis and boxing and bowling.
Right.
And what it is the difference is that with an accelerometer, it can only be set to do one of two things, either small movements or the large movements like the Wii.
Like the Wii.
But it's very popular to do those sort of things. So the camera lets us do all of that. We can do huge movements or small, plus the immersing the image on the screen. And now what we're delivering to them now are our point and control technology, being able to point at the screen and sort of control the content. But they're not just using it for games, they use it for like maps. You come up out of the Tokyo subway system, and their phones are all GPS, so a map naturally adjusts itself to where you are, and then you scroll around the map and find out where you are in the neighborhood, and zoom in and out depending on how much detail you want, or picture navigation. So allowing people to, go through pictures quickly and then get into a picture and navigate around it and see it and zoom in and out on it. They've got it using it through the menu system just to navigate down to things. Our next step is we're delivering interfacing to web pages to them, so that you actually do the same thing, navigate around a web page, zoom in and out as to where what you want to see, and so it's really
the future.
It's a full utility for navigating your phone.
Now, a $1 million question is, how do you build a viable business in 2008 on mobile?
Yeah.
And speaking in terms of in Canada,
Right.
since we're in Banff, data in Canada is different
Yeah,
than
it is.
Japan, but
They're far more embracing of new technology and certainly engaging with their phone and everything from text to games to all sorts of different ways to utilize it. We're lucky now. We're being embedded with Docomo on every phone going forward.
Fantastic.
So for us, that's
Huge.
one of our models, which is working very well. We're on millions of phones already over there, and since we're going to be on every phone going forward, it's just going to grow every year. In addition to that, we're also using the technology to approach all the mobile phone
Carriers.
manufacturers. Yeah, well, the carriers certainly. I mean,
Yeah.
Docomo is a carrier, but we're also going right to the level of the phone manufacturers and looking at embedding it right on the phones when they get the phones.
Right.
Something that is just a natural part of what people get as their interface to their phones.
Good,
And
good.
that's, if we can do that, then obviously we'll do very well, because there's hundreds of millions of phones that get sold yearly. And Verizon is the other thing. Going to the game developers, getting them to embed our technology on their games, and making it something that gets downloaded with the game when people buy the game.
I think you're onto something. Is this your first time in Banff? Or
No, I've been here quite a
at
few
nextMEDIA?
times. The first time at nextMEDIA, yeah.
Great.
So that'll be
Well,
great.
welcome.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Have a good time,
Yeah.
and we'll all make sure we can, whoever are here in Banff can come to your session.
Excellent.
I think it's a
2:40 on Saturday. Yeah.
Great.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent.
Right.
Great.
Thanks.